everyone. For this Random Talk Sunday, I thought it would be interesting to briefly discuss the Internet's impact on communication, including the positive as well negative aspects that I think it has presented over the years. The interesting thing about the Internet is how fast it has progressed. I remember the Internet when it was just starting. And now the Internet can pretty much go with us anywhere, on our phones, on our tablets, on our laptops. It seems like the Internet has gone pretty much everywhere, and a lot of people are able to access the Internet fairly easily than what we've seen in the past 10 years ago. It's completely revolutionized our means of communication and absorbing and sharing information. It's gotten so much to the point that it's so easy to reach out to people. Can imagine the time when we didn't even have the Internet and all you had was a cell phone to contact, or not even a cell phone. You only had a phone to contact somebody. And to really reach out to them. And you only had mail. You didn't have email. And can imagine the distance of time it takes compared to an email, to postage. And it's just crazy the amount of technology that we have now and what we can utilize. And not only can we exchange information a lot quicker, we're more quicker to receive information and know about what's going on, and what collectively people in society are doing, as opposed to more, I think, on an individual level. And this is where I think we get into the side of Internet in regards to communication, and how I feel like it's sort of hindered something that we usually had in the past. In the past, we did rely more on face-to-face communication. That was more of the norm, and it was considered to be the most interesting and the most engaging of communications. To actually sit and talk with a person in real life was considered to be the building blocks of developing an actual relationship. Now, with texting, with Facebook, with other forms of social media, with Skype, those relationships, I think, have gotten to the point of being a little less personal, a little less about the actual relationship, as opposed to more about the communication. And I think this is why we see very young people using the Internet, using cell phones, using that means of communication to really reach out to people, texting. And again, this is, I guess, not just the Internet, also it is phones and just technology in general. But the fact that we're utilizing that as a means of having some sense of intimacy, I think kind of disturbs me, because at the end of the day, what you're looking at is a screen. What a person says in a text message or on Facebook is not the same as how that person would express that to you in real life. It's I think kind of hindered our understanding of communication, and has created this completely new setup where it's a lot easier to talk to people. It's a lot easier to get attention from people than it was in the past. And as a result, I think we focus on the attention aspect that we receive from communication rather than actually trying to get to know somebody or, spending time with people. We instead invest our time in technology as opposed to investing time in the people that are important to us. And we take those people, I think, for granted at times. And I can't tell you how many times I've been in a room where at least one person was on their cell phone. At least one person was not paying attention or just, completely absorbed of what was going on the television. Just no connection anymore. It's all based in technology, this connection that we have. It's an artificial connection. It's not a genuine connection, I feel. And as a result, I think we've seen this growing trend of people really utilizing this and exploiting it so much. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've sat in the room with someone and they literally take out their phone like right in front of my face and then start talking to somebody else already. It's like their attention span is so small that they have to literally, it's not like it's something that they do really quickly. It's something that they do throughout the entire, time that I'm there. And I just feel like it just really, I think this technology has taken up so much of our time and resources that we don't invest that time in actually going out there at doing things that are within the realms of reality. Like we'll look at pretty places, from different places around the world and see the pretty pictures, but we'll never go there. We'll never invest that time or that energy or that money. It's like it's almost a fantasy, I feel. It's like it's almost like this need that people have to stay connected, to be constantly on top of what's going on. And I understand the importance of being able to know what's going on in the world, and what's going on with those around us, but I think it is at the expense of actually spending time with people and actually talking to them and getting to know them and really investing time. And I think this has sort of hindered our self-confidence. This overabsorption of technology, of the internet, of chatting, online instead of actually engaging people in person, in real life. And I think it has become actually a lot more difficult now because, again, the economy is not back to where it was, but at the same time, it's a lot harder to invest in that face-to-face contact with people, because I think a lot of it has been hindered by the fact that not a lot of people make as much money as those who've done in the past. Like, for example, the 1950s income doesn't really compare to really our income. I think there is this turn to technology maybe for those reasons, because it is convenient, it is cheap, it has gotten cheaper, way cheaper over the years to communicate through technology. And as a result, we kind of just accept that as the norm. And I'm not saying that it is a complete detriment to communication at all. No. I think it can enhance communication in a lot of ways, but I think in a lot of ways it hinders it too, because of this complete absorption into, the technology and not into the actual relationships that people have. Or people will literally at a party just start going online and just start looking up things. I'm like, really, are people that bored? Is this really? You can't. There's no. It feels like that there's a lack of socialization now, and things have become just so convenient for people that they don't feel like that they need to really try, or they'd rather be someplace else. It almost seems like that's what really a lot of people, I think, that do this kind of behavior, that they feel like they need to be somewhere else. And I'm almost thinking, well, why are you even here in the first place? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand this complete obsession with it. I like people. I like it when I can talk to people. Even the restaurants are replacing waitresses with, the technology screens, and yeah, it'll make business a lot more efficient and a lot easier. But at the same time, you kind of lose that human touch, that human element that I think a lot of us really innately desire. We completely remove it and replace it with something artificial. But again, the computer will never get you wrong. It'll always be right. It has no flaws. And that's probably, I think, the huge draw to technology is it's perfect. It gets it right usually, 99% of the time probably, and human error is more common. So again, this whole separation, I think, that we have from each other, from what we choose to spend our time with and our interactions, I think all of that can be summarized through technology. Like when you see a family now, it's like all the kids are on their computer or iPad playing a game, and they're not really interacting with their family at all. You don't really see them talking or having bonds. It really feels like that there is this huge disconnect, and a choice to connect with something that's not real. And I think in certain respects it's kind of a I think it's just a huge flaw that has come about as a result of our technological advancement. The lack of intimacy, of interaction. But at the same time, I think it's enhanced our sense to being able to communicate a lot quicker, and being able to know more people than what we usually do. And I think it's good for business too, if you can market yourself onto the internet and use Facebook and other social media tools and things like that. Like, that's always helpful, and it's always nice when you can interact with your customers. But at the end of the day, it's just a tool. It's not an actual relationship. It's just creating something as a means to an end. At least that's how I see it. It's a means to communicate. It's not the relationship itself. And I think that's kind of what we lost as a result of this technology and this advancement, is that there's less time in taking a step back and looking at things through the lens of actuality and really getting to know some people, like just a few people. And we've resulted in trying to know as many people as possible, but really not knowing anybody as a result. And I think that's really the thing that has put a damper on the relationships that we have with people is this technology shift that we've seen over the past maybe 5 to 10 years, probably the latest 10, but really I think it has sparked from within that sort of time gap, 10 years and earlier, so 9 years, 8 years. It's really been that amount of time since we've had this resurgence or this surge of technology, and it's interesting to see how things change, but at the same time I feel like it's important to look at the things that it's maybe taking away from us as well as what it's giving us, and seeing things for how they are. And I think that's really the important thing to understand when it comes to this kind of topic. But I think that's really all I can ultimately say. Again, I understand if there's some people that disagree or have a different opinion when it comes to this, but I personally feel like this is something I've seen over and over again. I've seen time and time again where people just absorb themselves in the phone and look at their phone every single second, and they can't just look out in the world and just take the world in. They would rather be on technology. And yes, technology is good, but as maybe the old saying goes, things in moderation are what lead to a balanced life. Balanced and happy one, I guess. But I think that's all I can really say. But if there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, week, month, and year. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care.